Welcome to another question of the day. Today I'd like to address a fairly confusing question due to numerous sources that are confusing. This is in the communication and network security domain. And first, like I always suggest, you're going to read the question. You're going to try and answer without looking at the answers. And if you can answer it and you are correct and it's within those 4 possible answers, first prize, of course. If you cannot, read the answers and then go back to the question and reread the question. Sometimes you get distracted on the actual answers. Now the question here is, at which layer of the OSI does TLS run? The OSI here refers to, of course, to the OSI 7-layer model. And there's also the TCP/IP model that we need to consider. Possible answers here are first A, the application layer, B, the transport layer, C, the presentation layer, or D, the physical layer. Now just consider that, and actually let's have a look at a couple of answers. There are confusing sources for me. If we look at the Wikipedia in English, which is in German, it's different. It defines that it actually does run at the application layer. The Sean Harris All-in-One, that's the 6th edition, on page 531, defines the transport layer. The IC² official study guide, page 437, that's a 7th edition, and I know the 8th edition has been released, but there's no real differences. It also defines at the transport layer. Now, this is a couple of sources, and when guys actually develop questions, they actually would go to, for example, the Sean Harris or any other guide and create their own questions. I prefer to go to the source, actually. If we look at the RFC 5246, which defines TLS version 1.2, with a link there if you want to go look at the RFC, it states the following. The protocol is composed of 2 layers, the TLS record protocol and the TLS handshake protocol. At the lowest level, layered on top of some reliable transport protocol, so it defines a transport, is the TLS record protocol. Now, when we actually want to look at the record protocol initially, it defines the following, that the TLS record protocol is used for encapsulation of various higher level protocols. One such encapsulated protocol, the TLS handshake protocol, allows the server and the client to authenticate each other and to negotiate an encryption algorithm and cryptographic keys before the application protocol transmits or receives its first byte of data. Then also defines later that one advantage of the TLS is that it is application protocol independent. Removing it again from the application layer, higher level protocols can lay on top of the TLS protocol transparently. The TLS standard, however, does not specify how protocols add security with the TLS. The decision on how to initiate TLS handshaking and how to interpret the authentication certificates exchange are left to the judgment of the designers and the implementers of the protocol that run on top of TLS. So taking this all into consideration, the correct answer is, of course, that it is at the transport layer. The transport layer establishes logical connection between 2 devices and provides end-to-end services to ensure data delivery. Protocols within the transport layer, of course, includes TCP, UDP, Secure Packet Exchange, SPX, which is Novell Network, SSL, and TLS. So, correct answer, transport layer. And if I were you, I'd look at different layers and what happens at those layers as well. For example, the presentation layer, that is where the compression takes place, the encryption takes place. I always think about presenting, MPEG, that's movie. There is compression, of course, and compression is similar to encryption.